Well, I was
boy.
at the I was at my second audition. It was before I even got to my car, and I got Chris came out and said I had the part, and Michael Barnathan, one of the producers, put the dog tags over my head and was like, "Okay, you're in," you know, and so it was really startling. Actually, you don't normally, you know, you got the audition and then you go home and you just want to scream and you pace a lot, you know. And this time I was still high off of the audition, let alone, you know, expecting to get that. So I had to kind of beware because I had to drive because I was in LA and it was like, so it was extremely exciting. I had just been on the phone with my dad beforehand going, I'm going into this. I really want to do this. It's so important to me. And he was like, tell him about how you grew up. Tell him about, like, you know, you grew up in a squat on the Lower East Side. You had Ed Asner did a documentary on you guys called Underground in Alphabet City. Tell him about that. You were 6 years old in that. I mean, they can go look it up if they don't believe you. Like, all this kind of encouragement. And then literally 20 minutes later, I was calling him and telling him I had it. So it was really exciting because it's something it was very intimate for me and for my family. And I'm really glad to be able to have done something like this so that they can see it because they never saw the original show. This is the first time they're seeing it. So I'm pretty excited about that.
I think part of my reaction was, you know, what have I got myself into? Because, you know, I really was afraid of being part of a disaster. You know what I mean? Like, sort of my legacy, having been part of the original cast, was sort of left unscathed. You know, and I was concerned that if this movie was bad, that's what it would be remembered for, and that's what I would be remembered for, was being in the bad movie, you know, and not being part of the original cast. And so I had a concern about that, you know. It's like, sort of, you're going to pick door number 1 or door number 2. Door number 1, you're fine. Everyone loved what you did. You can walk away and never have to worry about it again. Door number 2, you could ruin all that, or it could be great, you know. And so it was, I was nervous.
I screamed and screamed. Obviously, I wrote about that in my first blog. It's just, I screamed profanities loudly into a cell phone in the West Village, and people stared at me. My arms were flailing, I think. I started calling random people. I called probably 20 people. I walked 40 blocks in a daze. I just walked from 1st Street to 38th Street, like...
New York's good for that, the walking
it is
in the
good.
days, like,
it is good for that.
40 blocks.
All of a sudden, yeah. I walked 40
those
blocks.
days. I was in disbelief, too. I really just didn't think that they were going to give us these roles. You know, it's like they never have hired the original people. So I was kind of the naysayer, and everybody always says I'm...
Nay.
Huh?
Nay.
They always say I'm the pessimist, but I won't be anymore because Chris was awesome and he hired us.
Yes, he did.
We got a chance, and it was great.
I was like, thank God. I hope that somehow I can do it. I mean, I have another job, Law and Order, so I wasn't sure if I was going to even be available to do so. But all I could think was, thank God.
Yeah, I was screaming in the middle of a highway when I found out. I was.
He pulled over first.
Yeah, I pulled over and I screamed. I was just like, ah, I got it. And scene. I got back in the car, I was like, I'm good now. I'm good.
It's like this thing of relief, this like flooding of relief coursing through my body, and joy at the same time. And thankfully I was among friends, so I could turn to my friends and tell them, and they were then so happy for me. So it was something that I really got to share. I was on a plane, actually, landing. I just landed
in Seattle.
No, Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City, I mean.
And just that opportunity to have that private moment, also be able to share it right away with friends that I could look in the eye and tell them. You know, there's those good phone calls don't happen often enough in our lives. And then to also then get to make those phone calls to other people that I knew would care about it. I mean, I don't know about you, but that day I spent just reaching out to people and just sharing this news.
Right.
It was a glorious, glorious day.
I was skeptical. You know, there was a small amount of what Anthony just spoke of, but then I immediately went to, or if I'm going to participate in this, I want to make sure that that this is going to be done properly. You know what I mean? So immediately, my wife and I, Adina Menzel, you know, we wanted to read the script. We wanted to figure out, you know, how Chris was planning to attack this, how much of you know, the original play was going to be in the movie, what was going to be sung, what was going to be spoken, you know, where it was going to be shot, why was it going to be shot in San Francisco as opposed to New York. You know, I had no idea. I knew Rosario was terribly talented, didn't know she could sing. And I just wanted a whole bunch of questions answered. And slowly but surely, every single one of them, you know, it all started to reveal itself, and I was very impressed with the final product. Just impressed.